How's it going, YouTube? It's midnight, and I can't sleep. I'm not tired, so I'm going to show you another deck. This time it's going to be a budget standard deck tech for mono red devotion aggro stuff. Quick little disclaimer, it's not a good deck by any means, so don't expect to top 8 a PTQ with it or something. The goal was mainly to give newer players something to take to their first FNM without committing heavily to the format. The deck can be made for about $20, so it's not gonna be killer on your wallet if you just want to try the format out for once. And yeah, I'm going to be providing some non-budget alternatives for certain cards for those of you with a little bit more wiggle room. But yeah, I'm going to get into it quick. Start with a classic, the Mountain. 22 of these in the main deck, and none in the sideboard, because why would you do that? 2 or 3 of those should be replaced by Nykthos if you have them, but, you know, budget, so there's that. Moving on to the creatures. 4 Rakdos Cackler. It's a 1-mana 2/2. It can't block, but it's above curve, and it's really aggressive, and it's good in both the budget and non-budget versions, so, yeah, great card. And now, other 1-drop. Before you immediately click away when you see it and think, oh, this kid's stupid, he doesn't know what he's doing, I swear it's justified. 4 Striking Slivers. It's not a sliver deck, it's the only sliver in the deck, but when I was building this deck, I was looking at some of the other cards in it and just thinking, wow, I really wish there was a 1/1 first strike for 1 mana, and then I thought of this guy, and there is one. So, yeah, I threw him in here just to test him, kind of half joking with myself, but it worked really well for some reason. So, yeah, this guy right here. Surprisingly good. If you have the money, he should be replaced by Legion Loyalist, because Legion Loyalist is just better, but it's also $5 and budget, so, yeah, Striking Sliver. And moving on to the 2-drops, we got 3 Arena Athletes. It's a 2-mana 2/1 that whenever you target him, target creature an opponent controls can't block this turn. So putting an enchantment on this guy and then swinging in is pretty good. It's a 2-mana 2/1, he's got a solid body, he gives evasion to lots of stuff, and yeah, solid card. If you have the money, Ash Zealot's probably better, but I didn't have Ash Zealots, so this guy's in here instead. Ash Zealot is for those of you who don't know, costs red. It's a 2-mana 2/2 first strike haste with some other irrelevant ability, something like whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery from their graveyard, they take 2 damage. So, not that relevant. But the 2-mana 2/2 first strike haste is way better than this in almost every way. When I get to the next card, I'll explain the one situation in which it's not better. But yeah, take this guy out for Ash Zealots if you have him. And then we go to Burning Tree Emissary, the reason that Ash Zealot might be worse. You can't do Burning Tree Emissary into Ash Zealot on the same turn, because you get that stupid green mana. So, Burning Tree into Arena Athlete might be better sometimes than Ash Zealot, but probably not. You can usually just play the Ash Zealot turn 2 and then play this guy turn 3. But, yeah, as a free 2 devotion that gives you a 2/2 and lets you play something else that turn, this card's really good. It's an auto-include in both budget and non-budget versions, and yeah, it's just really good. Moving on to the 3-drops, got Mind Sparker. It's a 3-mana 3/2 first strike, and whenever an opponent blah 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 blah, they take 2. It's a 3/2 first strike for us that gives 2 devotion. There's a lot of enchantments that pump power in this deck and not toughness, so First Strike is probably the most relevant ability that anything could have, hence the Striking Sliver. And yeah, this guy's good. He's been working really well so far. He's kind of like the bombiest creature here, which is unusual. It's kind of weird that a 3/2 First Strike is a bomb, but he does a lot of work for me. If you have them, Chandra's Phoenix and Boros Reckoner are both probably better than this guy, just because Chandra's Phoenix has evasion and haste, and Boros Reckoner can get first strike, and it's also a Boros Reckoner. But for a budget version, this guy's like 50 cents, so Mindsparker's pretty good. Yeah. Moving on to the 4-drops. You got 3 Fanatic of Mogus, and that's the only 4-drop. This guy is a good finisher. If you have like 4 or 5 devotion, landing this guy is probably going to be GG. If you land him on turn 4 and you don't win that turn, you're probably going to lose anyway. But yeah, he's a really good finisher, closes the game off nicely. And yeah, not quite worth having a playset, but he's still pretty good. Moving on to, well, not pretty good, he's really good. Moving on to the non-creature stuff. Got 3 Dragon Mantle. It's a 1-mana enchantment that draws you a card and gives fire breathing. So I found that the deck was doing nothing late game. It was just going hellbent and then drawing lands forever. So not only does this card draw us a card and get us through our deck faster, it is a mana sink late game. This is another reason Nykthos would be good in here. If you have a first strikey creature with fire breathing and you have 4 mana open, your opponent is probably not going to block. So, yeah. Dragon Mantle is a good card for us. Now, the card that the deck is built around is Thunderous Might. You noticed all the first strike and all the devotion, it's for this card. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, it gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is your devotion to red. Going turn 1 Striking Sliver into a turn 2 Burning Tree Emissary, Thunderous Might, swing 5 first strike is awesome. This card does a lot of work in so many games, and yeah, 4 of it's what the deck is built around. It's just really good. Highly, highly underrated uncommon, I think. Now for an underrated common, we got Madcap Skills. Ooh, that's not focused. Focus. Thank you. Okay. 2 mana 3/0. 2 mana to give +3/+0, and can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So, same scenario, turn 1 Striking Sliver, turn 2 Burning Tree Emissary into Madcap Skills, swing for 4, is almost as good as swinging for 5. So, yeah, in some situations this is better than Thunderous Might, in some it's not, but they're both great cards, and it's pretty much like running 2 playsets of either one in most situations. Yeah, really aggressive card, helps us get there real fast, gives a little bit more devotion. Every little bit helps, and yeah, it's really good. Still in the non-creature spells, we got 3 Lightning Strikes. It's removal for small things, and it gets in that extra little bit of damage if you just need to finish someone off. Yep, good utility card, good to have in any deck. Magma Jet's in here for the same rationale, except it also makes our draws better. So, I like Magma Jet more than Lightning Strike in here, honestly. So, yeah. If you have a little bit more wiggle room with your budget, I'd probably drop the Lightning Strikes, go to a set of Magma Jets, drop the Arena Athletes, go to a set of Ash Zealots. That leaves us with 1 extra card, right? And then the last one, I'd probably throw in another 3-drop. Either go to a set of Chandra's Phoenix, a set of Reckoners, or even just a set of Mindsparkers would be fine. But that's the main deck. Now the sideboard isn't perfected. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it decent. But that's because I don't really sideboard with the deck often. The main deck is pretty much, it's very uninteractive, so it does its thing or it loses, so sideboarding doesn't really change that much. But I did just throw together some cards that I just like to have there in case I wanted them. 3 Everflame Eidolons. It's a 2-mana 1/1 Fire Breathing that bestows for 3 mana to give +1/+1 in Fire Breathing. Same rationale as Dragon Mantle. It gives us a mana sink late game, and it's also good against decks with a lot of removal, because if you throw this on a creature and then they kill your creature, usually, well, yeah, you're going to get this back, and then usually you can trade upwards with it by pumping or something, and yeah, good card, fun card, awesome artwork, like it. 3 Impetuous Sunchaser. I found that some decks just can't deal with flying, like my Simic deck. So 2-mana 1/1 flying haste that attacks every turn is fine. Like, if I give it a Madcap skills or something, it turns into a pretty quick clock. So he actually comes in against some green decks that aren't running Arbor Colossus. So yeah, he's good. Against other aggressive decks with small creatures, there are 3 Searing Bloods. It's a shock that bolts someone if the creature dies. And yeah, not much else can be said about it. It's removal that gets some extra damage in if the creature dies. Then Skullcrack, in case anyone's attempting life gain shenanigans. Yeah. 2 Fall the Hammer. Good with, as you saw before, Thunderous Might and Madcap Skills and Dragon Mantle and the Eidolon all pump power, not toughness. So being able to pump your power and then kill another creature is awesome. This is good removal. It can take out even large creatures like Pelugrinos sometimes. And yeah, good card for when you want more removal. And last 2 cards in the sideboard are 2 Titan Strength. It's kind of like a Lightning Bolt Scry 1 if you play it on turn 2, because they're probably not going to block on turn 2. And just 1 mana for +3/+1 and Scry 1 is solid. Gets extra damage through, triggers Heroic on Arena Athlete if you need it. And yeah. So, that's the deck. It's surprisingly effective. I still wouldn't call it great. I wouldn't call it competitive. But it's definitely fun to play, and it's definitely good if you're a newer player. It's not difficult to play. So you shouldn't have too much difficulty using it at your first event. And it's not expensive. At least it doesn't have to be, unless you want to put in Boros Reckoners and Nykthos and stuff. But I definitely recommend it to anyone wanting to get into the format. And if anyone does decide to build it or play it or take it to an FNM or something, let me know how it goes. I'd be really interested and really appreciative of that. So if you have any suggestions for the deck list or any commentary, that's what the comments are for. Let me know. Don't hesitate. And thank you all for watching.